wondering if this is the movie where Edward and Jacob finally sort of become friends or even learn to love each other as family.
We've always had that relationship, right?
Yeah, I give him my I sacrifice my daughter to him. I sacrificed my daughter to him.
That is love. That is love.
That's true love. Basically, this one is a love story between me and Jacob. That's what this is.
I know. I've learned that the hard way. Mine's pretty smooth, though. I think it is a little bit different, the relationship between all three of us, because it kind of has always been this complicated triangle, and now it's like a square. But no, it's become much less complicated, which was...
Perfect circle. How about
there
that?
you go. I like that one better.
Family.
Oh, hello. So this goes out to any of you, but for you guys, is this a bittersweet ending now that it's the final installment and, you know, this is your last time together at Comic-Con? How has it been for all of you?
Yeah, it is funny that if you told me tomorrow that we had to reshoot some scene, you know, that I wasn't happy with, I would be so happy. I would start vibrating, because I do really enjoy living in this world, and we got to do it for 4 years, and so I put everything I have into it, and I can say the same for these guys. When you do that, like, even though it's kind of a bummer to walk away, I look back on it so fondly that I hold it. It's something that I'll always have, and I'm really, really thankful for that. Somebody just told me that, Stephanie, you told them to apologize to me, like, tell Kristen I'm sorry. You're ridiculous. What are you talking about? I'm like so thankful. I have no idea.
Well, the question was, you know, about your guys' lives changing. I said, I imagine on a daily basis it's a lot more annoying than positive, and so that was the apology. Because I'm sure it's pretty annoying, right, every day? Sometimes?
Various things, but like not really to do with other people.
He's very irritable. Very irritable.
Hate going to the bathroom.
I don't.
Hi, Scott Hoover with People Magazine. Stephanie just mentioned that your lives have changed as part of this whole experience, and I'm curious, like, how you feel, sort of personally altered from where you were when you started, both from the job itself and from everything that surrounded it. How you've changed and where you've come out of the experience.
Okay, I'll go first.
Not to get too deep.
Let's do it. I'm so deep. Okay, I think you start a project to finish it. It's this like really charged experience, and it almost is too much, and that's the only way that it ever feels good and right and true. And I feel very challenged, even though I would, you know, if Stephanie suddenly wrote another book, I'd be like, okay, let me read it immediately. Like, I think if I could just keep that feeling, I know I'll find that with other experiences. How did it change me? I don't know, maybe it just affirmed my ideas of why I like to do what I do. It's like, you know, you don't always just have to do an indie movie to feel like you're intimately controlling it with a few people that you're really kind of connected with creatively. You can do it on a bigger scale. Maybe it's changed my mind on that level. But like, as a person, I could not begin to answer that question right now. It's so loaded.
Oh, sorry. Over here on the left, I was going to ask you guys, this is Jolie from AccessHollywood.com. Do you remember your first impressions of each other when you met all those years ago? Like that really first moment when you looked at each other and were like what did you think about each other when you met Stephanie too, when you met these guys, like the first time you saw them?
Well, for me, the first time that I saw them was pretty memorable because I was meeting them for a cast dinner, and they were coming from a shoot in costume. So the first time I met them, they're all dressed up as my imaginary friends, and it was the most bizarre, one of the most bizarre experiences of my life. But it was so cool to see everybody, like, this is what they look like. It's real. It was, you know, you kind of want to touch them, and it was really, really cool. And it was exciting because they all looked awesome, and I was so excited to start working with them.
No. I liked his pants. Seriously. Taylor, it's so strange. Like you were a kid when I met you. And then after literally New Moon, you weren't a kid anymore. So the first time I met you was very strange. I was like, really? No, no, I fought for it actually. I was like, I knew with both of them. It was, it's hard to say in interviews because I myself, I can't define it, but sometimes you meet people in life and you're like, we should make stuff together. We'll do good. You know what I mean? Like, let's utilize whatever this energy is passing between us. Let's do it. And I had that with both of them.
I was thinking.
Hi guys, Renee from Australia. What was the one new thing that you discovered about each other on this film?
That we discovered about each other?
Yeah, about working with each other. I mean, because it's the last film, you've worked together for a while.
It's hard to find something new after that long. The one thing that was new for me was seeing Kristen for the first time in the new Bella, and that was amazing. So that was a really cool thing to discover about her.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just the same, though.
We were all boring.
Totally.
I'll talk about that for a sec. I mean, it's just, Kristen has done such a good job over this whole franchise of playing the...
I thought people were just laughing at Taylor saying it. I was like,
Oh man.
And she's, I mean, at playing the old Bella, she's always been this, like, perfect, awkward, clumsy, relatable, and now she's all of a sudden just transformed herself into this, like, sleek, sexy vampire, and it's a completely different person. I think it was very impressive for me to see, and I think the fans will be blown away as well.
Well, and honestly, getting to see Bella so powerful was like a dream for me. It was amazing.
Oh, dude. I mean, it's feeling like you're like, wow, I am a sports car. Let's break it in. Like, so cool. I feel like that's why the first hunt has always been my favorite part, especially in the book. Like, my favorite part is break her in, man. Let's see what she can do. It's really cool.
I'm from Japan. As you know, we have huge, fan club of Robert. So let me ask you about, Edward became the most famous vampire in the world. So you also became most hardest, sexiest actor in the world. So are there any similarities, you and Edward?
Are there any what, sorry? What was the...
I think she said you were hot and sexy.
How does it feel to be sexy?
And are there any similarities, you and Edward?
I'm so excited for this one.
Wait, so the question was, what are the similarities between him and Eddie?
Okay, similarities.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
Come on.
What? No, I really can't tell anymore. I mean, it's after the first. I remember meeting you the first time and like arguing with you tons about.
He sat there and argued with me about what Edward thinks and feels. It was actually amazing. It was awesome.
But then after you've done like kind of 3 movies, you kind of get to a point where you're like, there's an instinctive understanding of it, so you don't really know where you end and where the character begins after a while. And so I don't know. I mean, there are certain things where you don't know if he's similar, if it's you thinking, because I mean, I've spent so much time in Vancouver and you're just like, Edward wouldn't do that, and if someone asks you why, you don't know why. You're just like, because I wouldn't do it.